Why do humans behave the way they do? Why does one person risk his life to save a stranger, while another commits an act of violence that shocks the world? Why do we love, and why do we hate? These are not simple questions. They are questions that have haunted philosophers, priests, and scientists for centuries. But then came one man, a neurobiologist named Robert Sapolsky, who spent more than 30 years studying the biology of human behavior, and what he discovered was both shocking and deeply human. His book, Behave, The Biology of Humans at Our Best and Worst, is not just about science, it's a journey into the mind, the brain, the body, and the society that shapes every action we take. Today, let's travel through time, from the moment you make a decision, to the forces millions of years ago that made you capable of making it. Imagine this. You're standing in traffic, a stranger suddenly pushes a child out of the way of a speeding car, risking their own life. In another place, someone gets angry and hits another person. Two opposite behaviors, one heroic, one cruel. What's happening in their brains at that exact second? In that moment, milliseconds before action, a storm is happening inside the brain. The amygdala, your brain's ancient alarm system, starts firing. It screams, danger, react. At the same time, your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain right behind your forehead, tries to stay calm and make sense of what's happening. It says, wait, think. Don't rush, but sometimes the amygdala is louder. Sometimes emotion wins over reason. And sometimes reason steps in just in time to stop something terrible. This tiny battle between impulse and logic defines much of human behavior. Sapolsky says, at any given moment your brain is not one voice. It's a parliament of conflicting opinions. Every decision, every behavior is a vote inside your brain. And what wins, kindness or cruelty, depends on what's been happening inside you long before that moment even began. Now rewind a few seconds before that event. Your body is already preparing for what's coming. Your heart rate changes. Your blood pressure rises. Your hormones are already reacting. Maybe you're stressed, angry, or excited. Your body releases chemicals like adrenaline, dopamine, and testosterone. Here's something fascinating. We often think hormones cause behavior, like testosterone causing aggression. But Sapolsky says not exactly. Testosterone doesn't automatically make you violent. It makes you more focused on status, on winning, on being respected. If your culture values kindness as status, testosterone can actually make you more generous. If your culture values dominance or revenge, it can push you in the other direction. So hormones don't control us. They amplify what's already important to us. Let's go back even more. Hours, maybe a day before. You didn't sleep well. You skipped breakfast. You've been worrying about something all day. You don't notice it, but your brain chemistry is shifting. Your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, are high. Your amygdala becomes more sensitive, more ready to detect threat. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical calm part, becomes weaker when you're hungry, tired, or stressed. That's why small problems can make you explode when you're already exhausted. You don't just lose your temper, your biology loses balance. Sapolsky's point is clear. Behavior doesn't come from nowhere. It's the result of what your brain and body have been going through all along. Even something as simple as blood sugar levels can decide whether you act kindly or selfishly. In one study, judges gave harsher punishments right before lunch because they were hungry. Now go back years to your childhood. Every smile you received, every shout you heard, every bit of love or fear you felt was shaping your brain. If you grew up in safety, your brain learned trust. If you grew up in fear, your brain learned to defend, to react, to survive. A child raised in stress often develops an overactive stress system, one that keeps firing even when life becomes peaceful. And that's why some adults react to small things with massive emotion. Their brains are still protecting them from ghosts of the past. But here's the beautiful part. The brain is plastic. It can change. With love, with therapy, with mindfulness, or simply with time and awareness, the brain rewires itself. So biology is not destiny. It's a starting point. Now zoom out even more, not just years but generations. Culture is a powerful invisible hand that shapes how we behave. In some cultures, defending your honor is sacred. In others, forgiveness is the highest virtue. If you grow up where anger is seen as strength, your biology will learn to reward that. If you grow up where kindness brings respect, your biology will adjust to that. Instead, culture doesn't just sit outside of us. It literally rewires our brains. And here's where Sapolsky says something profound. Culture and biology aren't enemies, they're partners. Culture teaches the brain what to value, and the brain shapes how culture survives. That's why empathy can spread through society just as fast as hate can, depending on which one we choose to reward. Now let's travel millions of years back, to to the world of our ancestors. Why do we even have emotions like fear, love, or aggression? Because they helped our species survive. When early humans hunted together, they needed trust and cooperation. That's where empathy and compassion evolved. But they also had to fight off other tribes for food and territory. That's where aggression and suspicion evolved. Both good and bad behaviors are part of the same evolutionary system. It's not that some humans are evil, it's that the same brain structures that create heroism can, under pressure, create cruelty. For example, the same oxytocin that makes you love your family also makes you distrust outsiders. The same dopamine that rewards creativity can fuel addiction. Evolution didn't give us morality, it gave us tools. How we use them depends on our choices and context. So how do we decide what's right or wrong? When you face a moral dilemma, say, lying to protect someone, your brain lights up in two regions, the emotional centers, like the amygdala, and the rational centers, like the prefrontal cortex. But emotions come first. Logic often arrives later, trying to justify what we already feel is right or wrong. That's why humans can be both deeply moral and deeply biased. We don't see the world as it is. We see it as our biology, experiences, and culture have taught us to see it. But when we learn to slow down, to reflect, and to understand our biases, the rational brain begins to guide the emotional brain. That's when true morality begins. Robert Sapolsky doesn't write this book to make us feel hopeless. He writes it to help us see that behavior is not just good or bad, it's the result of layers: biology, psychology, culture, history, and chance, all woven together. When we understand this, we become more compassionate. We stop asking, why is that person so evil? And we start asking, what made them the way they are? Sapolsky once said, the more we understand about what makes people behave badly, the less likely we are to behave badly ourselves. When we see others as products of their environment and biology, we open the door to empathy, not judgment. So, what does it really mean to behave? It means being human, a creature of biology and emotion, reason and instinct. It means carrying millions of years of evolution inside every heartbeat. You are not just a brain and a skull. You are the sum of your hormones, your childhood, your culture, and your ancestors. But here's the most important part. You can change. Every act of kindness rewires your brain. Every moment of understanding strengthens your prefrontal cortex, your inner peacekeeper. Every time you choose empathy over anger, you are literally reshaping humanity's future. That's the true message of Sapolsky's Behave. To understand behavior is to understand ourselves. And once we do, we can finally start becoming better. Because in the end, our biology gave us the tools for both destruction and compassion. But it's our awareness that decides which one wins. If this journey into the human mind fascinated you, subscribe to Knowledge Lab, where we uncover the science behind who we are and why we do what we do. Because to understand the world, we must first understand ourselves.